Today we are going to learn the 90-degree push-up, one of the most insane pushing calisthenic skills, definitely one of the most cool-looking calisthenic skills. I will show you the progressions, technique, and also my approach towards achieving calisthenic skill, gymnastic style of strength training, and how it differs from maybe other approaches, and I might convince you as well. Let's have a crack. Very, very difficult indeed, and requires also hand balancing type of skill, silk, aesthetics, but with just pure strength to go along. Now, yesterday I uploaded a poll on Instagram. I asked, what do you train calisthenics for? Muscle mass, skill, or both? Now I train for both, and I will elaborate on my approach to training and how it relates to how I teach the 90-degree push-ups. Not the only way to do it, not the correct way to do it, but this is my approach, and I think that it is better depending on your goal, and let's see how it really differs. I scribbled on the whiteboard. Let's have a look. There are 4 ways that you can get stronger. Let's go very, very quickly. Those are the only mechanisms that you can actually get stronger by. First is technical efficiency. You can get more technically efficient. You can improve technique. The second one is nervous system efficiency. Nervous system adapts to the demand. This is also can be looked as coordination. Coordination between the different muscle fibers of the same muscle group, or between different muscle groups. So how are my forearms firing, communicating with the biceps and with the lats to pull? Okay, all of which are coordination, can be looked as nervous system efficiency. Now people confuse the two. Technical efficiency is not nervous system efficiency. Technical efficiency, for example, could be narrow your stance in a handstand push-up and you might find it easier for you. So it's something that you did on the spot that improve your biomechanics, mechanical position, make you more advantageous, hence you improved immediately. Nervous system adaptations take slightly longer, hence they can't work on the spot. It's more like an investment, short-term investment. You are doing something different and it will take you time to coordinate to it until you get better. So that's the question that you can use to differentiate the two, both of which have little meaning to do with other tasks, even tasks in calisthenics, on the rings, on parallel bars, because they are skill specific, they are exercise specific, they are very specific to the demand. For example, let's use balance. I skateboard, okay? I have the exact type of coordination needed to balance myself on a skateboard. It doesn't mean that I can do a ballerina's pirouette, which also requires balance, because that's 2 different types of techniques and nervous system adaptations entirely, although 2 require balance and some form of technique and coordination. And we have the third one, which is the most important in my opinion, muscle mass. If that's my biceps, right, and for, let's say, we know that the iron cross utilizes a lot of biceps. If I can get my biceps bigger, basically having more muscle fibers, but also thickening the muscle fibers, which is also possible, right? Thicker muscle fiber and also more muscle fibers, that increases my iron cross performance potential, okay? See, I said potential, because you have to practice the skill in order to do it. But if you have bigger biceps, as a lot of gymnasts show, that is an advantage, because you can teach this muscle fiber the nervous system and the technical demand of the particular iron cross. Now, muscle mass makes it transferable. Let's say I have bigger biceps and now I'm doing a different sport that requires a lot of arm strength like wrestling, I will be immediately better. I will be better compared to someone with zero practice like myself, because I carry more muscle mass. And muscle mass is transferable, as we said. It is independent of technique and nervous system. Now the fourth one I added because that also is a way of getting stronger. You can get your tendons stiffer, more resilient, allows access to more of the muscle mass. So I added this one thereafter. Muscle mass is transferable. My way of doing things is I want to also be very functional in life. I know that that's a buzzword, function. It became a buzzword, but it means that I want to do better on a task that is unknown, a general task, day-to-day living. Therefore, I try to maximize the amount of muscle mass that I have, which will also help my calisthenic skills. And I'm not as reliant on nervous system and technical efficiency. So I want to be strong, explosive, to demonstrate the absolute strength. I'm not looking to be the most technical with any skill. And I will show you how I teach the 90-degree push-up differently. I'm not looking to be 100% technical efficient, like maybe some of the gymnasts or the calisthenic athletes who try to really cap on the technique and nervous system adaptation while carrying the least amount of muscle mass possible. And when you program for these two different approaches, you can see that I try to basically shoot for medium frequencies, moderate volume, moderate high intensities, and moderate amount of exercise selection, whilst usually people who try to hone on technique work very, very little, few exercise, maybe even a full workout of just training the planche, and with maximum amount of intensity, doing tons of attempts, as close to the task as possible, short, intense isometric holds, and let's do it as frequent as possible, like 5 days a week. I just want to do the planche, very specialization type of learning. Let's do just the planche, not a lot of exercises, maybe different exercises for the planche, but just for this one main goal, with a ton of frequency and a ton of intensity that really mimics the demand as much as possible. Whereas here that can be a pushing workout twice a week, that will be 5 times a week, with let's say 20 total sets using 4 different exercises. I can train the planche here, but I will also do a handstand push-up and then maybe dips and triceps to finish the workout. So moderate intensity, slightly more exercise selection or broader exercise selection. And here it's very, very specialized, basically just focusing on planche exercises. That's my approach to get strong in calisthenics. And I use calisthenics not to have the most amount of party tricks. I use calisthenics as a way to build strength. Let's hop back on the 90-degree push-up. How does that differ than people who really just want to teach you the 90-degree push-up out of context? Well, they will tell you to do hops so you can really get the strong at the bottom. Hand balance, okay, you need to be very comfortable on your hands to do eccentrics. And then maybe you see there are a lot of different exercises attacking all of the points of the exercise. Very, very specific, very oriented towards the skill. My approach towards learning the 90-degree push-up is just go through the progressions. You master the push-up, move on to dips. You master the dips, let's do pike push-ups. You do pike push-ups, let's move on to elevated pike push-ups. Place your feet on a box. Chest to wall, full range. The progressions that will build the most amount of strength until you get to the 90-degree push-up. If you're completely beginner, you will start with push-ups, right? And after you go and do push-ups, you can maybe do dips, parallel bar dips, which are slightly harder. Let's start with pike push-ups. Bam. Load the hands. Don't shift a lot of your weight back when you come up. That's not a pike push-up. Pike push-up is loading the hands like that, and now going down. and up. And as you get better, you can elevate your feet on a surface. Box to start with that is about knee height, and then hip height, and then chest height. When you are able to do chest height, then you can move on. And once you can do that, you can increase the range of motion, use taller parallel bars, then you are ready to begin specific 90-degree push-up exercises. For the 90-degree push-up, you have to be very, very good at handstands. Do it anytime, anywhere. I like to give the prerequisites of at least doing 5 sets of 45 seconds out of 5 attempts. You have to be very, very efficient. Imagine you're trying to really, really get strong at an exercise and you simply fall each and every time. Or it takes you 10 times to kick up into a handstand and you can't catch the handstand, okay? And then boom, your set is done because your shoulders got fatigued from trying to kick up. Throughout this process where you get very, very strong at push-ups and dips and handstand push-ups, learn the handstand. Start your sessions with handstands. Do them as frequent as possible. And it's not as fatiguing as strength training, so you can do it very frequent. Just watch out for your wrists, do a nice wrist warm-up, and I would say those are the only ones that are relatively delicate, that you have to watch for injuries when you start doing hand balancing to your practice. If you already have 5 sets of 5 chest to wall handstand push-up, full range, you can start doing straddle 90-degree push-up from the get-go. You'll be strong enough to do eccentrics. Let's start with eccentric handstand push-up, 90-degree push-up first. Start with it from the handstand. I don't have a lot of space, so I will show you a very narrow straddle. Straddle your legs and then go down. Slow, very slow descent. Slow. Push, 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 push. Pause. Bam. Try to get 8 to 10 seconds from the top down with the pause. The pause is important because that will be very soon the point of reversal where you will go from eccentric to boom, pushing up. You will learn to push yourself back up. So the full rep, eccentric, boom, straddle and pressing up. And then you can do half lay, going down. Start with eccentrics only, with a pause at the bottom, it's very important. And then you'll be able to press back up. I will show you the programming, how exactly to progress from going down to pressing up and moving on to the next progression. And then you are ready to do the full 90-degree push-up. Always try to build capacity with a skill. If you want a skill to last, if you want to be able to do the skill after breakfast, after the whole meal pancake that you just made from scratch, post-workout, yes, during an exercise tutorial, then build capacity, build volume, do more of the exercise, doubles, triples, get to multiple sets of 5. Now, you just look different. Now you're a different beast. Okay, I want to show you the programming that I will use for the 90-degree push-up. Programming approach that I love for calisthenics that allows you to periodize very, very wisely. So you have a skill, eccentric, only 90-degree push-up in straddle. This is the first progression that I mentioned. Let's add a different form of progressive, measurable, objective overload that is more realistic at this level of strength, because these are very difficult. We will add a set, or maybe 2 sets. So 3 sets of 1 will go on to be 5 sets of 1, and then 8 sets of 1, and then 12 sets of 1. When you can do 12 sets of 1, move on to the next progression. Now you can do full rep in straddle position, 3 sets of 1. You got it, 12 sets of 1. You can prolong the cycle by doing doubles. Go to 3 sets of double with eccentrics. I hope that you're with me still. So I just added a rep. And now 5 doubles, 12 doubles. I will be also able to unlock my first straddle 90-degree push-up, full rep, eccentric plus concentric, the positive phase, the way up. Okay, so we can really prolong this process depending on probably your body weight. Your body weight, your height are 2 huge factors. Someone weighing 90 kilograms trying to achieve this skill, someone who is 190 centimeters tall, will need more time than someone who is 160 centimeters tall and 63 kilograms lighter. These are entirely different. Do you understand that this person is carrying 50% more body weight than this dude? That is the easiest way of progressively overloading in an objective and measurable way. By the way, you're welcome. You can use it for any other skill that you are training. We take the same intensity range. We basically increase the volume in about 40% chunks, maybe 30% chunks. By that I mean 5 sets is about 40% more volume than 3 sets of 1. And then again, another 30 to 40% volume increase. So it's the same intensity. You build volume, build volume, build volume. That's 4 times the volume that you started with, building more work capacity. And now, boom, after the adaptation process that occurred over multiple sessions or weeks, you are very, very ready to move on to the next intensity. Okay, you need to spend a lot of time before you add intensity. Now let's get back to the 90-degree push-up specific cues. What I'm looking for in a 90-degree push-up is a straight body line. At the bottom, don't banana your back to do the repetition. The best ultimate technique is a straight body. You have to be horizontal to the floor and very close to the level of your hands. So if you're walking on the floor or on short parallel bars, your body will basically just hover above earth. Not here, boom. People who are very, very high on a 90-degree push-up, it's because they elbow lever. What is an elbow lever? You screw the elbows in, and now my whole body is relying on the bone structure. You see how far I am from the ground? If my elbows were to go outside of the body, I'll be able to come closer to the ground. Which leads me to the cue that I'm usually referring people for. When you did 90-degree push-up, start with a handstand push-up, lean forward, and then try to get your chin close to the ground. And keep your chin close to the ground, keep the body in hollow body position, and press back up. Okay, so basically you're trying to almost scrape the floor with your chin. This is harder, but this is the way that you do the 90-degree push-up with full range of motion. You go down all the way and you don't elbow lever at the bottom. You will see that the elbows, yes, I do have some leverage on the triceps with my lats. There is some contact because I'm jacked, bam! But the elbows will be outside of the body when I'm at the bottom. Be as close with my chin to the ground. Handstand push-up first, and then chin to the ground, and I'm starting to lean. Chin to the ground. Now when you learn 90-degree push-up, you have to learn it either on short parallel bars or the floor. That will limit your head's ability of dipping very low, because people sort of corkscrew the 90-degree push-up. They hop into handstand, they do full range handstand push-up, now corkscrew, and now I can do a handstand push-up again. And that is only an option if my head can dip lower than the height of my palms, which only happens when you work on high parallel bars or deep station. If you are training with short parallel bars or on the floor, I love doing 90-degree push-ups on the floor. If I'm practicing on the floor, I will tilt my hands slightly out. I like to have a good grip, so I don't turn them all the way out. I will do it like that diagonally. So your head is limited to the level of your hands, and now you are doing the 90-degree push-up properly. Okay, so no elbow lever and no cork. See the head going lower and then bam, bam, and pressing back up. You didn't train the hardest part of the 90-degree push-up. What is the hardest part of the 90-degree push-up? It is where you have to create space from the bottom, from this position. You have to lift yourself, but you can't dip your head. So you basically have to elevate yourself, almost like a planche push-up. Now your head has space to tuck in and the legs to go forward. Well, this is a long exercise tutorial. Thank you for sticking so far. If you're looking for bodyweight strength online coaching, one-on-one online coaching programs under my guidance, check the link below. If you're looking for calisthenics training programs, check the link below as well. You have everything that a calisthenic athlete needs right there in one spot. Like, share, and subscribe only if you love the video. See you next time.